Hello, Clive here from Bowyer's Accountants. Hope all is well with you, wherever you are watching or listening to this. This is my new venture into online demonstrations of systems and software, and hopefully this will make it easier for you to do the same for yourself when you need to. Now today this is all about how to set up Government Gateway, which a number of clients have asked about quite recently. So here we go. I suggest you watch the video all the way to the end before trying the setup yourself. And should you wish to do so, you can, of course, watch the video more than once. Okay, so we are setting up a Government Gateway account here. Now, it is possible you may already have one of these yourself, should you have ever recently even claimed a tax refund, made a claim for tax credits, either working tax credits or child tax credits. If you've ever requested a state pension forecast, then you would have been required to set up a Government Gateway account. And if you've applied for married person's allowance transfer, that too is administered through this system. A question we are often asked is, do we have these details for our clients? And the answer is, well, we do have access to your account in the Government Gateway as your agent, which enables us, amongst other things, to submit your self-assessment return and maybe view your tax account and see the payments that you've made. In this case, at the moment, HMRC have stated that agents will not be given access to enable us to make claims for the Income Support Scheme grant on your behalf. So this is something you will have to set up for yourself with your own details and use for this purpose. Now, you may be wondering why we're asking you to do this at this point. Well, the most important reason is to enable you to claim the Self-Employment Income Support Scheme grant coming online in May 2020 and into June 2020. That will be the only way in which you can apply to have the funds transferred to your own bank account. You will also be able to see your tax affairs and view your tax affairs online, by which I mean you see statements and payments due to and from HMRC, and the statements online, if I may say, are much easier to read than the paper statements that are posted. To enable you to transfer any tax refunds you may have either now or in the future, you can request them transferred to your bank account through this system. And in maybe 1 or 2 years' time, this may well be compulsory as part of HMRC's Making Tax Digital agenda, due to start under the current timescale in April 2021. So the place we need to go to is the link on screen there. I'll pause for a second and just give you some time to write that down, make a note of that. So to start the setup, we will go to the link there on the screen, and that will take us over to our web browser on the internet and to the Government Gateway sign-in page. Okay, this is the home screen to start the setup process, and we start here with the green sign in link. Okay, this is a new page which has been inserted into the process, and it's just there as an information page to give us some more information about the financial support that's available from government for businesses and self-employed individuals at this time. I don't suggest we go through that now. The link we need to follow is the one at the bottom of the screen, which says continue to your account, and that will take us to the rest of the process. This screen is where we would normally start in order to sign in once the account is set up. So if you want to bookmark this in your favourites, then do so at this point. But the important part we will move on to is the create sign-in details, which is the text link just below the green sign-in button. It's just worthy of mentioning the note there. When you're doing this for real, do keep moving as much as possible. The system will time you out after 15 minutes. Now don't worry if that means you are a slow typist, as long as some activity and some interaction with the web page is happening, it won't shut the process down. And here the first request is for your email address. So if you enter your email address in the box, and then click continue. So just to confirm that you are not some kind of phishing robot, the system will send a code to your email address as shown there, and it will look like the one in the example. So at this point you will need to just open up your email software and check your email for that code, and when you have it, type it in the box here and press confirm. So the page now confirms that all is well and we can continue the process. Question number 1 is very simple, and you need to put your full name in the box as shown on the screen and click continue. Okay, so the screen here is requesting that you now create a password for your account, and you can see the 4 rules there. You can note that generally speaking the government gateway does not recognise upper or lowercase. Okay, this screen is asking that you set up a recovery word, and this is just a simple word that if you forget your password, you'll be challenged to type in this word as part of the password recovery process. So here we should enter the recovery word, or the special word that we have thought of. Don't use mine from the screen there, it's not a very good one. Do obey the 3 rules there. It shouldn't have any numbers, nor spaces, nor punctuation, and be between 6 and 12 characters. Again, 12 characters is the limit. So now the government gateway has created your user ID, your account number. This isn't related to anything else, it's just generated by the system, and that is it for you. It's very important that you keep a note of that and you keep that safe. So I suggest you print the screen at this point. You print out the web page to make a record of that. As you can see there, it does say that that number has been sent to your email address, but just in case of error, or just in case you delete the email or lose access to the email at some point, I really suggest you print that out in the old-fashioned way and put it somewhere safe. And then when you've got a record of that, possibly even 2, we can click continue to move on. So now we're asked to choose the type of account you'll need, and as this is all to do with self-assessment and you personally, then the option is the first one shown there, which is the individual account. So if we click in the circle next to individual and the dot appears, and then we click continue, we can move on again. So now we need to set up a second level of security, or as the modern word is, a 2-factor authentication. And on the next screen we will show you how that is to be set up. So you can see the options here. Now what happens when you log in for real is that you will be sent a message via one of these communication methods. Voice call and an authentication app sounds very tempting, but having used this quite a lot myself, I suggest you stick with a text message. So again, if you click in the circle next to the text message option, it will put the dot in the circle there, and then click continue and we'll move on. I would hope we can take it as read that everyone has a UK mobile phone number, so do check the yes option there on the screen and click continue. So now we're asked to actually enter the mobile phone number here, because you will get a text message shortly after we click the green button there at the bottom which says send access code. So if you haven't heard it pop up on your mobile phone already, here you can see the system confirms that a 6-digit access code has been sent by text message to the mobile phone number you entered. So go to your mobile phone, open the text messages, and you should find one there. You should see a message which looks like the one on the screen here, and the code that you will need there is the 6-digit code mentioned in the message. And it is only good for the 15 minutes as stated in the message. So make a note of this code and let's go back to the website. Now back on the web page there, if you remember the code from earlier, you put that in. Obviously these are different every time, so your code will be your code that you get when you are doing the setup for real. Ours was this at the time, so that's the one we enter here and click continue. So as this page now confirms, the additional security has been set up and also informs you that every time you sign in, you will need to obtain an access code in exactly the same way as we just have. So click continue and we'll move on again. Now, as I'm sure you can appreciate, this whole process is to enable you to access your tax records. So just in case you are not you, here the system challenges you for some personal details just to verify who you are. So click continue when we're ready to move on. So these again are fairly simple details: your first name, your last name, your national insurance number and your date of birth. Now, if you're flagging, I promise you we are more than halfway through the whole process by this point. So this is almost one of the last confirmations you will need to do. Now, the system needs to identify you, and this is HMRC, so you would expect them to have access to other government data. And it's giving you some options there. And what you need to do is you'll need to enter some information that will be shown on one of those documents there. So that's your payslips, your passport or your P60. As you say, there are other security questions you can answer. I think the best option here is you go for the passport questions. If you haven't got a current UK passport, then you will need to go for the multiple choice security questions. I'm saying not to consider payslips or a P60 because this video is aimed mostly at the self-employed individuals, and you shouldn't have payslips or P60s as a self-employed person. So passport, I think, is your best option. Again, click in the circle and the option appears, and once you're happy, click continue to move on. So, as part of data protection rules, the system now would like to confirm your consent to share information with the Passport Office. So, it needs to do this if you want to continue with the process. So, hopefully you're happy there to click yes and the green continue button to move on. At this point, you will need to have your UK passport to hand, not now, but when you go through the system and the setup for real yourselves. And these items are printed on the back of the passport and are described exactly as they are on the page here. So your passport number, your surname, all your given names. If you have middle names, then put all names down there exactly as they appear on the passport, and the expiry date. Again, exactly as it's shown in the passport itself. Once those are entered, we can click continue and move on. Now, hopefully all those details were entered correctly. The system may take a minute or so to get to this point between the screens, and if all of the items are verified, you'll see this message here to say that your identity is confirmed, the system is satisfied that you are you, and we can just move on to the next part. There is just one final question here which asks, how would you like to be communicated with? Now, although this whole video is about the new online digital tax service, I really do suggest you click down here for the postal option. Should an email go missing, or should you not log into your tax account for some time, I think you may miss an important notice. Click the option there by post only, and then continue when you're ready, and we'll move on. So this is it. We are here. This is your personal tax account. Now, under account home there, your name will appear at the top and your tax reference just below it. I've blanked them out because this is my account and I'm keeping those to myself. Here you'll see various options and you can look around what you can see so far, and I believe, although it isn't ready yet, this is where the option will be posted to enable you to claim the Self-Employment Income Support Scheme grant. Okay, so what two final points. The whole purpose of this is to enable you to claim that Self-Employed Income Support Scheme grant in May or June 2020. HMRC have already stated they will not allow us to make any claim as your agent or on your behalf. I do, however, still suspect that HMRC will write to you to give you the amount of your entitlement and possibly provide some more instructions as to how to claim it through this system. But the Gateway account is mainly to enable you to direct the funds to your own bank account in a secure way. Okay, so one very final thing to say is just to ask you to bookmark our website and come back often for more news and updates. Also, you can follow me on Twitter at Clive Bowyer for brief updates and even the odd joke. Thank you for your time and your attention. If you have any queries about this, then do go to the Contact Us page and get in touch. Otherwise, until the next time, many thanks.